champions, big dragon.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Full 40 here with Willy and Tommy. After a couple basketball games were played, a couple games that we did not win. So we're here to eulogize the 2025-2026 men's and women's Villanova basketball team. Rest in power, rest in peace. Um, yeah, rest in piss, maybe, depending on how you're feeling right now. Uh, Tommy, how you feeling?
If you asked me probably 2 or 3 days ago, the answer would be a lot different than it is today. I don't know why. It takes me a little bit after these games to really take a step back and evaluate the season as a whole.
Yep.
I can tell you I was not happy with the Utah State game, only because I felt like we were on the verge of stealing it. I think is the best way I can put it.
Yeah.
But we didn't, and that sucked. And I don't know what the future is going to hold, but it was a hell of a season, man. It's about what we expect. It's about what we expected.
Yeah, I mean, we've said this all season, and let's just before we get into the game, let's just start at the top. If you had told after this time last year that after because Kyle was gone by this time, that we would hire Kevin Willard and we would make the tournament as an 8 seed and lose for opening round, I don't think anybody would be like, "Oh, that's the best case scenario," but we'd all be like, "Okay, that's a good step in the right direction." And that's what the season was. It was a step in the right direction as on a macro level. When we get to a more micro level, that's where we see some of the all right, well, we squandered some opportunities. The Georgetown game for sure. Creighton at home, losing to not closing out versus UConn. And then this Utah State game, probably the three things that we squandered really this season. And overall, if you look at a season, okay, there's 4 games that we should have won that we won, and there are also games that we probably should have lost that we won. So all in all, it comes out in the wash. I sit back and I look at this season, and one thing so after the Georgetown loss, I think a lot of people were like, "Oh, we miss Hodge," and I was kind of like, "It's fine." I kind of did not take the Georgetown loss to heart, frankly.
Agreed.
It sucked, but I was like, all right, whatever, we'll move on to the tournament. And we can talk about the game a bit here. This Utah State game was a game about halfway through the first half. I immediately was like, this is where we're missing Matt Hodge. And that's just exactly what happened. We were missing his rebounding, his size, because if we all remember, Kevin would go small with Hodge at the 5 at times, which Hodge also good leaper, strong rebounder for his size, allowed us to be a little bit more flexible defensively. Instead, what we had was a lot of Duke Brennan in drop coverage, basically sitting at the restricted area, and a lot of Mason Falsev literally taking or moving, getting downhill off a pick and roll or off any kind of action and getting right in front of him, and then doing the push shot floater, which I think he had 4 or 5 of those push shot floaters right over Duke Brennan. And at some point, I'm sitting there and I'm screaming at I'm in the nosebleeds. I'm screaming we know what's happening. Step up. And it was just kind of like that. We were done. And earlier when we were stepping up, we were getting killed on back doors. So it was a game where very early we were, at least for me, I was like, oh, we don't have the interior defense to our interior defense is just not showing up right now. And we haven't had an elite one by any stretch of the imagination, but that was probably one of our worst interior defense performances of the entire season. In a moment that we needed them to show up, or it to show up.
No, yeah, for sure. I'm going to take a step back a little bit here and talk about the season kind of as a whole before I get into the Utah State game. But this was year one of the Kevin Willard era. He set a program record for wins by a first-year head coach with 24. He was 15-5 in Big East play, first tournament appearance.
Also, by the way, so did Stephen Pearl set a win record for first wins by a first-year head coach. Come on.
Did Villanova post a graphic like Auburn did?
I don't believe we did.
Damn. Got to get on the athletic department. That's unreal. Unacceptable. But yeah, Willard also tied a program record for most conference road wins in a single season, which I thought was crazy. This team performed very well on the road, which, I mean, when you look at this team coming in brand new is extremely surprising to me. And this was a team last year 2 years ago, we had a lot of returners. And I just go back to that game at the Cintas Center where Eric Dixon and Brendan Hawson were playing patty cake with time expiring and they needed to get a 3 off. And it's just, I talked about it in the open a little bit, that I took a step back and kind of went through the season as a whole. And it's cool that I'm able to be upset that we lost in the tournament, right? It's pressure is a privilege. Like it's just
pressure is a privilege.
Yeah, that was one of the quotes. Not the one I had teed up in my head, but that's the one that came out. But yeah, Willard, after the game, he said there weren't a lot of expectations early in the year. A lot of people were talking down about them, but this group was one of the best I've ever had coaching, and I think that says a lot. So that was a season kind of in context for year one. You were talking about the game a little bit. I kind of want to we'll go back and forth about the game, but I kind of want to talk about the ending after I wax poetic about, the season as a whole. It was tied 73-73 with under 4 minutes to go, 3 minutes, 54 seconds left.
Mm-hmm.
And Villanova just tied the game. And that momentum, that felt real. After that, Villanova missed 9 of their last 10 shots. Actually, they went up. They were up 73-71. But they missed 9 of their last 10 shots. And there was a sequence. MJ Collins, he hit an N1 off a behind-the-back drive that put them up 78-73. And it felt like you blinked and this game was over.
Yep.
Like it was so weird. MJ Collins, I think he intercepted a Bryce Lindsey pass and he had a one-hand slam. And that was the final play of the game, 78-74. But I think what I really look back to as a microcosm of the season, and we can go through a lot of different things, the depth disappearing, the free throw shooting. But I think in the final minutes, there was a 5-second violation off of an inbound. And that's a young team cracking under pressure. And I think if you really want to take one play and point to where it all went wrong for this team, I think it's that play right there. Utah State outscored Villanova 15-3 in the final 6 minutes of the game. It's just that kind of, like, it felt Villanova, like, for as close as the score was, it didn't feel like they were really supposed to be in that position, but they were, and they didn't capitalize again. And that's just the season in a nutshell for me. Like, it was good, but it could have been better.
What frustrated me, and there's an interesting stat I want to pull up a little bit later, but we talk about that 73-73, and I believe I tweeted as soon as that, like, all right, here we go. And it was just like, okay, tie ball game, 4 minutes to execute. All season, we had done a pretty good job of executing down the stretch of games. And I was expecting the same. And it just flew in our face. But there was a moment for me in this game where the air went out of my body, and it was before like the real onslaught happened. I believe we were up 73-71. Yeah, we were up 2. Because we had just taken the lead. I think that's how it went, right? We got up 73-71.
Yeah, 6 minutes and 4 seconds left. We took the lead.
And then maybe about a minute later, Bryce Lindsey had a corner 3 that went in and out.
Oh.
And it went like to the point where, like, I fell out of my seat because I was like, this was the shot that I was like, okay, we're breaking through. And it just went in and out. And that, like, clearly the team felt it too, because after that, it just went completely downhill. So that was definitely a moment that really stuck out to me. Something that, like, I'm going to put on my tinfoil hat here for a second. that I'm like sitting with, and I don't really know because like I would never say this about a team, but like there was a level of like they're just happy to be there. And you do wonder, was like, okay, were they as locked in as they should have been? And that's like, I'm not gonna go throw with like any stone like that. Oh, they didn't like they were like having fun. They weren't because they clearly cared. Like this was important to them. But there, I think Jay said this before, like when he was talking about the 2009 Final Four, like got our ass kicked because he was like, yeah, we were just happy to be there. And there is a level of like, okay, year one we can be just happy to be there. We even like all the conversation going up to this was like, we're happy we're here, we're happy we're here. Now the expectation's been set. The table's been like, okay, we'll let this go as a 1 year thing of happy to be here. Next year, assuming we put together a team again, then we're able to get there. Um, there's no longer like we're no longer happy to be here. Like we had
Right.
the 3 down years with Kyle. We've had rebuild, rewrite the ship under Kevin, and now as I go forward, expectations are this is a tournament team every single year, and I would love to see Kevin break through his own like Sweet 16, actually putting a deep run together type of team.
Yeah.
Whether that happens this year or like next year or whatever, it's whatever. But this is I think all season we were like, we're happy, we're good, we're happy, we're back, we're happy, we're back. Now I'm kind of like expectations start. And now like, okay, you've shown that you can put it together like with a team that like no one thought was going to be good, Kevin. Like now let's go get a good like a team that people expect to be good and let's go live up to expectations.
Yeah. No, for sure. Um, I wanted to highlight one guy that you mentioned. I remember you texting during the game. Um, Bryce Lindsey.
Mhm.
You almost fell out of your chair once he hit that three. He led all scorers in this game. He was 6 of 11 from three. Um,
Didn't you just kind
and
of feel like he was gonna be on? Like game started, I was like, he's gonna show up.
that I texted it to you before the game.
Yeah.
I was like, I feel like Bryce Lindsey is really going to come out of a shooting slump. I don't know what happened in conference play, but in the tournament game and non-con, he was a flamethrower.
I think he just doesn't like the Big East. That has to be it. Because literally the first non-Big East team he sees, he's back on.
Fire Val Ackerman. We
Yeah.
need to investigate this. Um, but why was he forced into hero mode in this game? Of course, the Hodge injury forced a thin rotation. Willard, after the game, he said, without Matt, we have to play small. We had to play guys like a Caden Perk and Bryce 36 and 37 minutes. I thought that took a toll. Lindsey's 25 points came almost entirely from three. In this game, Villanova shot 42.4% inside the arc and missed 9 layups. They made 14 threes. They had some prayers answered from beyond the arc. That's the only reason they were in this game. They had great shooting. They took 33s. I think if they were to take 33s in a game tomorrow, they'd make 9 or 10 of them. 14 is not out of the realm of possibilities, but it was a great shooting night. It just masked how bad they were inside the arc. They were dominated on the glass. They were dominated in the paint. 42-26 advantage. Utah State points in the paint. And the threes were just papering over an inability to score inside. I think this team really needs to take a look at, and we'll get into this later, but I think they really need to take a look at a big in the portal that has a physical like we played in Seton Hall twice. He didn't play the first time, but the second time, Villanova fans got to see him. Nijay Hines. He's a guy that when I'm looking at guys in the portal, that's the kind of archetype that I want. More recently, if you were watching, you could watch the Big East tournament. Zuby Ejiofor just blocking everything. Of course, Zuby Ejiofor's don't grow on trees, but somebody of that archetype, I think. And again, we'll get into it later, but I think that was really evidently missing from this team. That's taking nothing away from Duke Brennan, by the way.
Yeah. So here's an interesting thing I saw, and I'm looking at the numbers right now. 3 of our 5 worst defensive performances happened once Matt Harge went out. St. John's was one of them, so we'll give a pass because it happened in the middle of it. Then we had actually one of our best defensive performances, tied for our best defensive performance in terms of efficiency versus DePaul. So, okay. Xavier was like a normal one. then Georgetown, and Utah State was the worst defensive performance we had from an efficiency standpoint.
I believe it.
Yeah, 126.2 points per possession, or 1.26, but over 100. Utah State, what do you think? So I think you said, what do they have points in the paint? What do you think?
42 to 26 advantage.
Okay. What do you think Utah State shot from 2-point? So not just paint, but also like mid-range jumpers, because a lot of what he was taking, like how many 2-pointers do you think they made and missed?
I think it was 82.3%.
I'm gonna do the quick math right here, because are you looking at it? Because that feels no. I think it's a little lower actually if I'm just doing quick math in my head. Yeah, it's 72% from 2. They went 26 of 35 from 2. Yeah, and like we know that there was a parade to the free throw line, like that was also a part of it. But like,
and the thing is, it looked like it too.
It looked like it. That's the thing.
Yeah, like every time they came down court, it felt like they got an open look, and that's just their effective field goal percentage. That game must have been absolutely absurd. I was talking to Michael DeRosa about this. We just finished recording the Road to the Garden podcast, but he made a good point. Like, there wasn't a whole lot of games that Kevin Willard was clearly outcoached in.
Mm-hmm.
This was one of them.
100%.
Yeah,
100%. And you could tell, like, when we started, we didn't start ready. We weren't ready to begin the game. I would say I don't even want to say we're the more talented team, because like Utah State was a really, really good team. I watched them play Arizona, and like when Arizona was going to pull away, like literally come and continue to give Arizona all that they wanted and more. That's a very, very good team. But we were able to come back, and then just like once again just couldn't finish. So that was really disappointing, and just like seeing. I mean, the biggest way to put it is we saved our worst defensive performance for the last game of the year. Like, that's tough. That's just a tough way to go out.
Yeah. And Calhoun already got a promotion. He's like, since they've played the game and before this recording, he's no longer the coach at Utah State.
Yep. Is he from Cincinnati? I'm trying to remember why that was such a good job for him.
I'm not sure.
I think he's from Cincinnati. I'm going to pull that up right now, because not Gerard Carmichael, Calhoun.
Wes Miller took the Charlotte job while you're looking that up. The Cincinnati's old coach. I am worried about Xavier
from Cincinnati.
Though.
He went to Cincinnati. He's from Ohio. Yeah, this makes sense. Yeah. You said you're worried about Xavier fans?
Yeah. That rivalry, Xavier Cincinnati.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be
tough. Calhoun's he's a hell of a coach. I don't want to say I've had him on my radar all year, but I've known of him. I haven't really dove into his sets. I mean, before the Villanova game, I took a look at some of the stuff that they were running, and it was mind blowing. I mean, his X's and O's are literally crazy, and we saw it. Unfortunately, Villanova doesn't have a staff besides Kevin Willard right now. They're all fired. You're fired. But
you're fired.
But,
which like
it was. I mean, he's like a Nate Oates, Ben McCollum type of genius with the X's and O's. It's crazy.
Let's just give it the like 1 minute thing about the you're fired stuff. What was so funny was I didn't like. So I'm sitting in the stands, and I can see. I think was it Tracy Wolfson who pulled him? I don't remember who pulled for the interview.
I believe so.
Whatever pulls him, and I can see him, like the camera set up, and I can see him about to do this interview there. And I literally go, I wonder what he's saying. And then about 2 minutes later, I look at my phone, and I'm like, Kevin Willard's gonna fire everybody. It's a weird joke. It's a weird time to make it, but it was just a joke. And like seeing it blow up on the internet was like, I was like, what are we doing here? Like, this is just kind of who he is. I think the Villanova fans there's some Villanova fans that were like up in arms about it. It's just like, it's a joke. It's just like, is it the best joke in the world? No, but he was just joking. And I feel like if you work for Kevin, you kind of know that. And then also like, not for nothing, like, yeah, we know he's a little bit prickly. Like, that's just kind of what he is. Like, let's not pretend that he didn't just string Maryland along there's a reason Maryland fans are still angry for a person that they claim they do not like, they do not care. that they're still angry. They're don't put in the paper I'm mad online, even though they will not shut up about Kevin Willard. Like this is just kind of what it is. So I don't like I saw that and I was just like, that's funny. I guess we'll see if anybody does get fired. That'll be
No, yeah, like it's with all due respect for the people that were up in arms about it. Like, have you ever met, or not even met, but just have you ever seen Kevin Willard? Like,
Yep.
have you ever watched an interview he does? Like, that is who he is. Like, he's not gonna be a fan favorite.
Yeah.
To a lot of people, he's rough around the edges, but I mean, it was very clearly a joke. It just, and I am not qualified to talk about people's like the energy that they give off, or the characteristics, but like when other people joke about that kind of stuff, like when Danny Hurley would be like, yeah, I'm gonna fire my whole staff, and then he'll say, no, I'm just kidding. Like,
Yep.
Rick Pitino will say something like inarticulate Italian noises, but
something about one of his Egyptians.
Right. Willard just does it deadpan, like
Yeah.
with a straight face, and then people are like, is he joking? Like, and
Yeah.
that's why it's stirring up so much controversy. But it's Kevin Willard. It's a dry sense of humor. Nobody's ever accused him of being Mother Teresa or complimented him in that sense. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's a nothing burger, but I can understand why people wouldn't be too fond of it.
Yeah. One thing, yeah, I mean, I sit back and I think it was just it was a missed opportunity versus a team that we like had a chance to win. I mean, we're up 10 and I'm like putting in our group text, I'm riding the wave because I knew it was a wave and I was like, this might not last forever, but I'm gonna enjoy this and ride the hell out of it. Yeah, I mean, it was good. Honestly, like just to give like if anybody was in San Diego, like I mean, I love Viejas. It's one of my favorite arenas in college basketball. It's like, I mean, it's not the pit because the pit is like in ground, but like it is truly like such a really really cool venue.
Yeah,
And I mean it's San Diego, so everything is like the concourse is outside, so like you have to walk up a lot of stairs. That is kind of like annoying for if you're if you have really good seats, it's a walk back up to the top. But yeah, the concourse is outside, so you're just able to like be outside, cop back in. It's like really, it's a great venue.
get your steps in.
Yeah, and there was a great set of games. But before people keep calling me during this show.
I wrote down some situational stats that I think tell the story. If you want to tell that telemarketer to bug you at a later date, that's right around your dinner time.
It's my brother. I don't know what he wants.
So I mentioned the points in the paint. Utah State 42, Villanova 26. I have some more stats that I pulled out of this game that I think tell the story, and we can move on afterwards. But
yeah,
fast break points. Utah State had 14. Villanova had 2. Bench points. Utah State had 16. Villanova had 3. Second chance points, 13-6, and I feel like it should have been a lot more than 13. Second chance points for Utah State. And then the free throws, 28 of 36 and 16 of 13. The free throws I'm sorry, 6 of 13, not even 50%. The free throws aren't the reason Villanova lost this game. Somehow they went through the whole season without getting directly burned from their free throw. I mean, of course, there was games that they could have won if they shot better at the free throw line, but you're not beating a team shooting 54.9% from the field if you can't get to or convert free throws. And that's just, those stats pop out at me. You mentioned that it was the worst defensive performance of the season, and it's just the fact that we were even in the game late is surprising to me.
Yep. Just as an aside, we're talking about patterns. It's interesting that we opened our season with a loss to a team from Utah, and we ended it with a loss to the team to a team from Utah. Just things I'm noticing.
Hashtag noticing.
Yeah. One thing I want to talk about before we talk about just kind of like the rest of the tournament and then kind of like what we think about this season going forward. We want to also talk about, so it was a double loss. The Villanova women lost 52-57 to Texas Tech. I wasn't able to watch the full game because I was in stadium, but what I was able to see when um, they showed us, they showed it, on the jumbotron. They showed it like during like a lot of the breaks. That game, I saw we were up at a point down the stretch. It was like third quarter. I think even fourth, we were like a little bit. We were had the lead for a bit in the fourth, and just like couldn't bring it home. Um, yeah, so I mean that's another tough one. I mean, in the moments I'm looking right now, like Danae Carter went 1 of 7. Jasmine Vasco went 9 of 21, shot 1 of 8 from three. Yeah, 1 of 8 from three. Played all 40 minutes. Like, there's just like this is. I think I called out in the beginning of the season or beginning of the game preview that like seeing what Kennedy Henry could do as a true freshman would be great to see, and she put up 0 in 23 minutes. Like, it's just a it was a game that, like, from what I could tell, we lacked some execution down the stretch. Sounds familiar. And then just the better team kind of just overtook us. But that doesn't take away from a fantastic season overall. The women went 25-8, men went 24-9, 25-9. I can't remember what the number is. I think 24-9. So overall, like, two really good seasons for the team. Um, I think we're gonna see, um, and this will kind of get towards like one of the things we're going to talk about. We'll probably touch on today, but like is who we were able to retain and how we're able to like continuously like push the programs forward, both the men's and the women's. It's one thing I want to take a step back and say is like I think a lot of I'm going to say college basketball fans, but I see it in the Villanova sphere for sure. Assume because like we had a good season, players are going to come back. And that's just not the case. Every year in this NIL era, you have to re-recruit your players, renegotiate, and essentially start from zero with them. So from both the men and the women, like from the women, like I mean, it starts with like making sure Basco is coming back. I've not heard anything saying anything otherwise, but just make sure that they're able to come back. And then the same thing from the men's side of things. Like let's prioritizing certain players and getting them to come back. This is no secret. Like a Caden Lewis is going to be it. Like I don't know if he's hitting the portal. I don't know what that looks like, but other teams, I promise you, are hitting his cell phone, being like, "Leave Villanova. There's a bag for you." We're going to have to match that or get close to it and enough for him to want to stay. That's not breaking news. I don't know that he's like entering the portal, but he's a very good freshman that literally any team in college basketball would be like, yeah, you should come play for us, work on your shot, and here's a bag. So Villanova needs to be prepared for that. And we're probably going to see that same thing happen with like a Bryce Lindsay of, hey, like you had a bad like conference play, but we're still really, really good. And yeah, Ryan put a really good. Actually, that's a great call out, Ryan. That according to Skin Milky, which is the Trilly Donovan of the women's game, she'd be surprised if Basco left, but other teams are going to try and snag her because she can't accept NIL since she's Canadian. That's a great call out. Honestly, we should just put together teams of Canadians that just can't accept NIL. But also, that's such a stupid rule. It's like such a stupid. Like the same thing happened.
Zach Edey, right?
Yeah, Edey had the same thing happen. Like a lot of international players have that happen. So, well, I don't know. We're gonna see how that's handled down the stretch. But we're like in the case of Basco and in the case of like Lewis, like teams are going to come and essentially try to poach them. I expect that from Lindsay. I honestly like kind of expect that. Like I think we saw Perkins essentially kind of like allude to coming back. I would be a little bit more surprised if Perkins left. It feels like he's kind of found a place here. Like he's a captain next year. I'm sure we'll pay him whatever he needs to be paid. He took such a great leap this season. He's probably my favorite player from the season. Like preseason, I was like Lindsay's my guy, and he still is. But like as the season went on, I was like Charlie Perkins has been fantastic. Yeah. I mean, all this is to say we have to re-recruit the entire roster. There's just no one. I just saw a comment in the comment section that really made me laugh.
My fiance is going to be interested in this one. She's a big UNC fan.
Yeah, so I just think like we need to be prepared as a program to understand like you're going to have to re-recruit everybody. Thank you, happy trails to Duke and Devin. Happy trails to like Zion Stanford, to Farah Kapara, like people who are on the team that are about to bounce. I'd be shocked if Hodge left simply just because of the injury. It feels like a situation that he stays, but who knows? But yeah, so we're gonna have to re-recruit, and we'll see what happens there. Um, anything you want to add on just like the re-recruiting or kind of like what you're directionally looking at in the portal?
Yeah, let me go back to the women first, and then I'll circle back to everything.
Yeah.
After. So they lost to number 7 Texas Tech as a 10 seed. A lot of fans, and rightfully so, feel like they got screwed over by their seeding. I can't lie and say I could be upset by their seeding because I just don't follow women's basketball as a whole as much as I do men's basketball. But I mean, just looking at numbers, they absolutely deserve to be better than a 10 seed. But yeah, they lost 57-52 to Texas Tech. Texas Tech went on a 10-2 run. At the end, Jasmine Bosco hit a 3. Excuse me, hit a 3 to cut it to 55-52, and they had a chance to tie it at the end. It was just off the mark. The big picture, though, I want to zoom out a little bit. Denise Dillon has this program trending in a really good direction. They're back to the NCAA tournament. Basco's star in the making, and Henry, as a freshman, setting the steals record is a major building block. I think she was. Let me fact check this real quick, but I think she was all freshman and all defense teams. She was averaged 2.4 steals per game. So that was really cool. I do want to give the women their moment here and shout them out on a heck of a year, 25-8, and they definitely have the stepping stones to becoming a legit contender again. Give Denise Dillon her flowers as well. But yeah, I think Jasmine Bosco and Caden Lewis. I know Ryan in our chat mentioned that the avatar on Trilly Donovan's page said she'd be surprised if Basco left. I would also be surprised if Basco left. And tying it into the future here, and I already forgot your follow-up question here, but the inquiry about Caden Lewis, I'd be surprised if he left as well, and he would not be wise to leave this program. From everything I've seen and I've heard, he's in a really good situation here at Villanova. The NIL opportunities are here for him. The playing time is here for him. The rapport with Kevin Willard is here for him. This is his team. He's going to make millions of dollars here at Villanova, and he's going to be the point guard. He's going to be a first-team All-Big East player. He's going to get the national accolades. And I really, truly do think this is a place where he can build and grow. So I really think that Caden Lewis is going to come back, and I think he's going to attract some pretty big names in the transfer portal. People are going to want to come to Villanova to play with Caden Lewis, and I don't think that's something that we've had in a very long time. So I'm excited for that. I mean, I don't want to speculate on too many other guys and give my opinions on them. That's not. We're not here to start rumors or break any news, but
I'll do one. LeBron James texted me. He said, age 43 season, he's coming to Villanova. Him and Bryce. So you can take that to the bank.
Bryce Maximus. Brian's not here, so I had to get that in for him. Yeah, I saw him at the Wawa over in Flowertown.
Yep.
So I believe it. But yeah, Hodge. I don't know. Hodge is a weird one. It would be awesome if Matt Hodge came back.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough. They are going to have to recruit somebody in his archetype that's going to come in and play his role while he gets back to full strength, because I don't think he's going to be healthy for the start of the year. I mean, he might be, but he's not going to be 100% to start the year, coming off an ACL at the end of the season. So I think he comes back with the understanding that, it's not going to be starting from day one. But if he were to leave, and this is all speculation, there's nothing behind this. I just think his brother is going to Northwestern, and I really think him at Northwestern with his brother in a Chris Collins style system that would be a really good fit for him. Again, there's nothing there, but if he were to transfer, that would be a place where I'd look out for. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who we bring back. Ideally, I mean, I would love to bring. Perkins said he's coming back, so I don't think I'm breaking any news there. It's going to be awesome to have Perkins back if he's telling the truth, which I'll take him at his word. That's all I can at this point, right? Yeah, Perkins coming back is going to be massive. I think Bryce Lindsey, you touched on it a little bit. I would love him back, and I was talking with you and Chris about this earlier. I would love him back in a role kind of like the one that he had when he was at James Madison and he broke the 3-point record. He didn't start at James Madison, and he could start here. He's obviously good enough to start here. We started on a tournament team here, but I think on a tournament team that makes a deep run, Bryce Lindsey is that spark plug, that Drew Joyce that comes off the bench, you knock down a couple threes and really give your team that juice. I really like Bryce Lindsey, and I would really like him back.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. We've talked about this a little bit in the group chat, but I don't really want anyone to leave. Like, I kind of want to bring back everybody who can come back. I guess your Zion Stanford's like, if he would wanted to come back, sure, like we'll take, but like he's not gonna come back. He's not coming back. But of everyone who played like minutes for us, I would come back. Like I have no issue with Pierce being a depth guy. How did you get out? My dog just got out. It's fine. He's so smart. Sometimes he just figures out a way out of his pen. So there's just like a lot of different like options that we like. I want Palmer back. I just look at this team and I'm like, okay, bring back the core and like let's see if we can get like a few like studs, to your point, where okay, can we get a big that can be versatile, that can shoot, block, do whatever it takes. Can we get like a Askew replacement to help us like really kind of drive that? Can we, and like whether that Askew replacement starts and then it's like a more complete guard than Lindsey and Askew, like that would help Lewis. To your point, I don't think we shouldn't replace Hodge, but we need to like replace him. So like, can you get a senior wing who does the same thing as Hodge? So essentially it's like, hey, you guys will split minutes once Hodge is fully healthy. And then you have two options there. I think the biggest thing I feel, and this is a thing I felt kind of preseason on, I want more wings. In every player that we got that got hurt for this season or that left was a wing, which is super interesting. Hodge at 6'8", kind of a wing big. Stanford, a wing. Gapara, a wing, like a wing big. And like we lost the defensive size, and you can't really plan for that, obviously. But that's what I want us to replace, and then I want another like guard there. So there's a lot of things that we're going to see who's in the portal, who's available. But to your point, people are going to want to play with a Caden Lewis, and I, for one, am very, very excited there.
That was on mute. My apologies. But yeah, we have Jeffrey Steckman in the chat. He says, yes, more 6'6" plus wings. I completely agree. And I got excited when you said you want more wings, because I have a tradition on March Madness Thursdays. I always go and get chicken wings from the same place. It is a tradition unlike any other. But yeah, there was someone in the chat, like I mentioned, need more 6'6" plus wings. Someone else in the chat says we need a Dylan Mitchell clone. I completely agree. Dylan Mitchell, I said this on this podcast before. I've said it on other podcasts. He does everything at an elite level except put the basketball in the hoop. It is truly incredible what he can do. There is a name out there that's only being linked to Villanova because of the agent relation with Baker Dunleavy, but I'm not saying that this guy is linked to Villanova or coming here. I'm just saying I like this guy's play style. His name is Kwame Evans. He's a junior from the Oregon Ducks. He averaged 13.3 points last year, 7.4 rebounds and 2 assists. He's 6'10", 220. from Baltimore, Maryland, and he plays the 4. He doesn't play the 5. He averages 7 rebounds per game at the 4. And he took over 100 3-pointers last year. So he can stretch the floor a little bit. He's not a stretch. I think he shot like 30% or something like that. But
if you're interested, I have a scout on him because he was a person last year. He like declared for the draft and ended up going back, but I had just like a full scout on him. I haven't spent much time with him on him this year, so I haven't seen any improvement. But like this is kind of what I had written up for him. I call him versatile big wing. He doesn't have enough strength, but he does have really good length. He's a little bit rigid. I wouldn't call him a super fluid athlete, but he has a clear plus wingspan guy, a smart passer, and he's got decent vision. There's untapped shooting ability there. He likes to shoot, but isn't necessarily doing it well. Has some work to do to get to that to get to a NBA level. And I'm thinking about this from an NBA side of things, but he can at least be an average shooter. He's not strong enough to guard bigs, and this was 2 years ago, his freshman year, so he's definitely added strength. But doesn't really have the foot speed to guard on the perimeter, but is a good weak side defender, center field type of defensive event creator. Can finish at the rim when set up well from somebody. He's got a semblance of a handle. This was his freshman year, and then I finished this off kind of saying he's an upside swing. He should probably go back to school, which he did. And that was a little other things there. But essentially, that's the mold that you're looking at, like a very, very versatile wing.
And you can take out the name Kwame Evans. Like that is just the exact build I'm looking for a 4. I'd like that as the 4. And he could start. Matt Hodge could start. They could both go. Probably not at the same time. Probably wouldn't be too useful, but you could because they both have that rangy kind of versatility. But I think pairing one of those guys with a dominant big that will make sure what happened in the second half of the Creighton game at the Finneran Pavilion, or what happened the entire Utah State game last week, doesn't happen in the future. That's what I'm really looking for in the portal this year.
Can you just vamp for like 2 seconds? I need to make sure this dog isn't eating a rubber band.
Eating a rubber band?
Yep.
Wow. Absolutely. What else am I looking for in the portal? I am looking for somebody that can come in. Ryan Hartnett in the chat here says he likes Lindsay off the bench. I have to agree with him in that sentiment. Now, I kind of danced around it earlier, and why did I do that? Because Bryce Lindsay is good enough, obviously, I mentioned this earlier, to start on a tournament team. We saw it here at Villanova this year. What am I looking for in a 2 if Bryce Lindsay is coming off the bench? Obviously a shooter, right? Caden has, for everything that he does well, his shot is not something that you can trust from beyond the arc, right? Caden Lewis is a guy who is an outstanding primary ball handler, especially for his age. I mean, he is 20 years old. He was a 20-year-old freshman. He'll be 21 as a sophomore coming into the year this year. But Caden Lewis is the kind of guy that you trust as a primary ball handler at the top of the key. And he's proven that he can do it at the Big East level. Runner-up for freshman of the year in the conference. And I think, Willie, I'm talking about what we would like as a compliment to a Caden Lewis. And I'm saying for all of his strengths, his vision, his versatility, his ball handling, his shot is not trustworthy. We saw flashes of it, like the Georgetown game. He knocked down 2 threes. But I think as a 2, I'd like somebody a little bit bigger than Bryce Lindsay, a little bit more versatile to switch off of on the defensive end. Lindsay isn't a bad defender per se, but he's not a plus defender. I don't think you don't send Bryce Lindsay out there on somebody for defense. You send him out there because he's a spark plug. But yeah, I do think Bryce Lindsay could play, like Jeffrey's saying here, 15, 20 minutes per game. And I think that would be invaluable for this team moving forward. I'd like somebody with some size of the 2 that you can switch on defense, somebody with a shot, somebody that, I don't know, just complements a Caden Lewis's skill set that we've been talking about all year.
Yeah, I would say, I think I'm more bullish on Lindsay overall. I think but I do understand on this team, especially with Lewis, I think Lindsay's best path forward is for him to become a true 1. if he can become a true like one as the point guard, that's probably his best pass forward, which is might be a case why he would transfer because he's not if we keep Lewis, he's not going to be a true one. Like he can play off ball, like that's 100. We've seen that all season. He's smaller, and not even like height wise, just like he's not like the strongest. He's average on defense. Um, but I think like assuming he stays, I want to see him like he's a super six man. I just don't see like there's no reason for that. But yeah, I mean the hard part is like looking for a person that like fits next to Lindsay, not that or not Lindsay, Lewis. Um, like you're looking for like yeah, actually with literally what Jeffrey said, a 6'4", like two guard, like who's like can rebound, can shoot. Like I mean, if Anthony Edwards has any availability left, like he can come play for Villanova. I think that'd be great.
Didn't even make the tournament.
Yeah, he didn't make the tournament, so like we're getting a bust. Um, but that's like I definitely think a guy with some size would be good. Like if we're gonna like harken this back to like previous players, like if Phil Booth was here, like was next to Lewis, I think that's the kind of guy you're looking for. Like just that
Yeah.
level of that, maybe not even that level of player, but that mold is kind of more what you're looking for. Um, and with that person, that's great. Like assuming Lindsay stays, you can juggle all three of them. You can put them all on the court at the same time. I do think we potentially have that answer just on the floor with us, and it's Tyler Perkins. And you move Tyler to the 2 and you just play larger. That's probably what like I look at like the true path is like, can you put Tyler at the 2, maybe get another wing that can like ball handle a little bit because Tyler's a decent ball handler, but like I would not call him a creator. And that, but like I think our answer for that is kind of on the floor. It's Tyler. It's just play bigger than and Tyler plays more of the 2 instead of the 3, which we had him at all season. And we were
You
playing
know, you mentioned Phil Booth. You know who my ideal, if you could add someone, would be?
like all time Villanova or just in all time.
Yeah, all time Villanova recent.
Can't Whitmore.
Little 3 Vincenzo.
Oh, Dante. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean Bryce Lindsay. Yeah, to your point. I mean, obviously not a scrub. Florida was after him. Vanderbilt was after him. Could you
Yeah.
imagine as a 6-man on Florida this year? That'd have been so much fun to watch.
I think he would have started ahead of Xavier and Lee eventually. The way Xavier started the season.
Yeah, Xavier was terrible at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
And he was terrible in the last 4 seconds of their season. Neither here nor there. Ben McCollum goat. Another thing that I'm looking for in the transfer portal, and I don't want to touch on this too long because I don't think it's a necessity because I am high on Chris Jeffrey and for as good as Chris Jeffrey is and for as good as Tyler Perkins can be in these spots, I mean, we're losing Askew. Who knows what's going on with Tyler Perkins? I'd like a backup ball handler on this team, somebody that can come in and I haven't watched too much film on the guy coming in, Omi Douche from Overtime Elite, but he's not somebody I'd peg as a primary ball handler. I think when Villanova got in trouble this year with the presses, when Villanova got in trouble with some of the weird switches that like the UConns and Marquettes of the world would throw at them on the defensive end, like some match zones that they ran into. It was tough. It was tough without a Caden Lewis on the floor. I mean,
even sometimes with a Caden does have some like susceptibility to pressure on ball to turn it over, which is a freshman thing. But yeah,
no, for sure. And we all expect that to be better in year 2. But I don't know. I thought it was weird. It was like a point guard by committee type of thing. Like we had to ask you, but he's gone now. And Jeffrey could do it. Perkins could do it. Lindsay could do it. I want somebody who does it. Ideally a senior or a super senior or somebody that can come in here and he's an established ball handler. He's not going to command too much in resources. He's not going to command too much playing time, but a trusted ball handler. I think I would like that off the bench in these scenarios.
Yeah, that'd be a really good fill. That'd be really and to the point of like Lewis, I think it's interesting because like I mean he's so talented. Like think about all the warts that he has. Terrible free throw shooting, not a dependable 3-point shooter yet. As creative as he is, like he can be like a little loose with the ball. like all of these warts and how good he is with these
Yeah.
warts still. Like I want him back. I want to see what he can become. I fully expect, regardless, even if he stayed flat next season, you go to the NBA. Just like go figure it out at that stage. Um, but I mean, the NIL is a different world, so I don't know
Would he have played for Jay?
what team.
If you took out Kevin and after they fired Kyle, Jay said, "All right, I'm coming back for a year," and they gave Jay this team.
He would have played.
Yeah,
Yeah, he would have played. I mean, if we think about it, like we played Quinterly, and Quinterly was like they were not the same. Caden was so much better than Quinterly
yeah.
as a freshman, and just like, but like he did play Quinterly. Yeah, he would have played it. Probably would have been less to begin with. I think we would have seen a lot more Tyler Perkins being the point guard, and then eventually Caden would have like pushed it. But yeah, he would have played.
Quinterly, man, you're shaking off some rust. That's probably my biggest miss in all of my recruiting across all of sports, and it's nothing, personal against Javon Quinterly, but I thought he was gonna be like like NBA 75 kind of guy. Like I was all the way in on Javon Quinterly. Like really, I shit you not. My name on Xbox was like Jelly Fam Tommy. Like I was like all the way in, like on Javon Quinterly, bro. I was his #1 fan, and the fact that it didn't pan out. I mean, I was happy for him at Bama. He got his little bit. I don't even think he plays basketball anymore.
No, he definitely.
It's either him or Matt Corral, the quarterback from Ole Miss.
Okay, but he was cool as hell. Matt Corral was cool as hell. Like,
dude, he's so cool. I thought he was going to be. I don't even want to say what I thought he was going to be. I was in the stands Jalen Hurts' rookie year when he would throw an incomplete pass or an interception, and I'd be saying to other fans, Matt Corral's not going to throw that next year, and Jalen Hurts won the Super Bowl. So it's up to those two for two of my biggest misses. But sorry for getting a little sidetracked here.
Well, this is a great sidetrack because one of my biggest misses, I'm just going to put, remember Grant Riller from College of Charleston?
I do.
Grant Riller, when he was going to the NBA, I literally was like, this is Damian Lillard. Like and this is like, I think I had him like 11th on my board. I was like, I don't see how this dude doesn't pan out. I think he played maybe 2 NBA games. maybe 2 NBA games. That was a huge miss for me. I loved Grant Riller. I'm off small guards now. I can't do it. So Tyler Tanner, as good as you are, I'm off you. Can't handle small guards. All right. So kind of ran through what we wanted. Let's kind of talk about the Sweet 16 teams that are left. Anybody sticking out to you? Anything that you're like, oh, this is an interesting little storyline?
I just had a quick Grant Riller update. He's with the Texas Legends in the G League.
Oh, hell yeah,
he's
Grant.
back in the United States after 2 years with the Beijing Royal Fighters.
Well, what is he average for the Legends? I still have a little bit of stock left, so let me see if I can start buying some.
I don't think this is real.
Damn.
I might have just got duped. It says he's averaging 18, 3, and 2.
That feels like a China 18, 3, and 2.
I don't know. I might have just got.
I'll do something. I'll reach out to him.
All right.
Grant Riller might.
So you want to talk about the Sweet 16?
Yeah.
Let's talk about the top left of the bracket because there's
that's a fun bracket.
Yeah, there's 2 Big East teams in there. I think that the listeners can appreciate this, and this might be a little biased. I think these are the 2 best games in the entire Sweet 16. Let's go down to UConn and Michigan State first. This is a 1-point spread on KenPom. Oh my God, there's somebody in our chat who says I thought Lance Ware was going to be B-Hop. Sorry, that caught me off guard. He's probably got a nicer car than B-Hop. Gee, that was fun pulling up next to him my Honda Civic every game. But anyways, back to UConn, Michigan State. This is the number 9 versus the number 10 team. In KenPom, Michigan State's 9, UConn is 10. UConn just needs to make shots. Braylon Mullins, solo ball, they have not been making shots so far.
Yep.
And Michigan State's going to give up a lot of shots. Jeremy Fears is awesome. He leads the country in assist rate. Cone Carr If you guys haven't watched him at all this season, he is a human highlight reel. He's going to be one of those guys that your kids are sitting on the porch, like 16 years old, like just watching like old highlights of players. You're going to be like, you guys remember Cone Carr's highlights? Cut those on. Incredible. Cone Car is awesome. But yeah, this Michigan State UConn game, I'm really excited for. I have UConn in my Final Four in my bracket.
Okay.
I really like their chances of advancing. I picked them to advance over Michigan, but this game is really a toss-up. I think Michigan State does give up a lot of three-point opportunities. UConn does take a lot of threes. I think they start falling in this one. As for the other game, I got off Road to the Garden. You guys can do whatever you want to that podcast, but I said something crazy on there, and I got grilled for it, and you're going to grill me too. But it's already on the record, so I'm going to stand 10 toes down on it. If I'm playing a basketball game tomorrow or this week, like St. John's and Duke are, and we're on the playground, and all 20 or 30 players from St. John's and Duke are on the court, and I have to pick a player who I want first on my team. And this isn't like I want Iguodala type of thing here. This isn't for clicks. I don't get anything from this. It's I want
Jason Sano.
Dylan Darling.
Yeah.
I want Zuby Ejiofor. And I understand that Cam Boozer is the player of the year. I think he's going to have a better NBA career than Zuby Ejiofor or anybody on that floor on Friday, for that matter. But if we're lacing it up this weekend, I want Zuby Ejiofor. He's like, Cam's not small, but Zuby's a grown ass man. He is physical. He's tough. Relentless. I think right now he's better than. Should I have hit a pause there? I think right now he's better than Cam Boozer this week. We'll see how it plays out. I like St. John's in this game. Wouldn't be surprised if Duke won, but I can't quit the Johnnies.
I love this Johnnies team. I mean, I have Zuby. Like, Zuby's literally 15th on my draft board. Like, I'm just like, he's too big of an ass kicker, and he just gives too much of a shit. Like, you can't teach that. Like, that motor cannot be taught. I mean, I guess on the last week's episode, Chris and I did the bracket together, and we ended up picking Duke, but we both were like, we picked St. John's to begin, and we had St. John's versus UConn, and we're like, are we just being homers? So we adjusted. But like, I really do think St. John's can pull this off. Like,
yeah,
it is going to the game. So St. John's also was playing in San Diego, and I had a buddy who's an Arizona fan watching, and I was like, and I was with another friend, and I basically was like, you guys need to watch what happens after St. John's makes a basket. And you and I did not know what hit them before. Like, it was just, and I was like, every made basket that St. John's makes, it is hell. The thing is, versus better teams, sometimes they don't make as many baskets. So that we're gonna see. I think I would argue St. John's or Duke is probably going to be the best game of the Sweet 16. But there's just there's some great basketball that's gonna happen. Like, St. John's Duke is good. I'm a little lower in Michigan State UConn. Not that I think it's gonna be bad, but like, Arizona Arkansas is going to be so good. Yeah. Arkansas is just going to like be able. Arizona cannot like go through a cold stretch like they did versus Utah State, because Arkansas can score and has the size and like the skill to keep up with Arizona. Like, they do. Like, I would not be shocked if Arkansas does this. Texas, Purdue, it should be fine. Michigan, Alabama, like, there's a part of me that thinks Michigan's just going to literally roll, but then I'm like, who knows? Nate Oates is doing this, but also, does Nate Oates have his eye on something else that just opened up, which we'll finish with. Actually, sorry. The game of the tournament right now is Iowa, Nebraska. Like, not because of skill but just like, you get a rivalry game in the Sweet 16. They're corned out, baby. It's a corn off.
They said that they should open the game with an honorary punt.
Yep. Iowa, Nebraska, Sweet 16. That's going to be really good. Illinois, Houston, those are two of my favorite like three teams, non-Nova teams this year. That's going to be fantastic. Like, there's just this is the thing, like, you get whenever you lose the Cinderella's not there, and it's like, "Oh, we're not getting, like, there's no upsets." What you'll get, though, is a fantastic round of 32, this Sweet 16, like, there's no I mean, Texas is an 11 seed, but it's Texas, and, like, they're still a high major program. Um,
The
like, there's
highest NIL department in the country.
yeah, but
It's crazy. NIL
but
department, athletic department. I need to go to bed soon. They're crazy. I'm sure
um
they do have an NIL department.
honestly, they probably should. But yeah, this is just like you have all these matchups where it's like this is going to be like one of the best Sweet 16s in like recent memory, just by the matchups. Like
Yeah.
I love this is the it sucks for the opening round when it's like, oh, there's no Cinderellas. But then what you always get is like, I mean not always, but like you lose the Cinderella loses in the next round, and then all of a sudden it's a 9 seed and or whatever. Here we're going to get some really, really good basketball games. I would say my favorite non-Duke St. John's is going to be Arizona, Arkansas. Like that game, I feel like is going to go down to the last shot.
Yep.
Um,
Yep. You mentioned Nate Oates.
yeah, that's how I want to wrap up.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, you're good.
No, I was just gonna say I think that there's a job that opened up literally seconds before we hit record. North Carolina fired Hubert Davis, and you mentioned Nate Oates possibly having his eye on that game. I think there's another coach in that bottom right quadrant of the bracket that has his eye on that job as well. I think that's TJ Otzelberger.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's going to be a really interesting game for Iowa State. Tennessee's defense is crazy. Jacoby Gillespie. Did you see his post-game interview with Nate Ament?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, these guys, their chemistry is fantastic. He said, I can't get enough of this guy.
Yeah.
And Rick Barnes was like, whoa, I want to rephrase that. But no, I mean, their chemistry is great. Their defense is outstanding. Jacoby Gillespie, some Villanova fans might remember. There was a time where Kevin Willard considering bringing him over from Maryland. But yeah, I think that's going to be a great game. There's a lot of good games. I think TJ Otts is a hell of a coach, and we'll see what plays out there. I wouldn't be surprised if an NBA name pops up for that North Carolina job. That's such a prestigious job.
Did you see a name that I just saw this pop up like while we were on here? Hold on, let me just make sure I'm getting this right.
Is something official?
Growing momentum that Billy Donovan to step away from the Bulls. Just saying.
What about his Twitter account?
just saying. There's some momentum that he's going to step away. Could be.
I also like that Brad Stevens is kind of turning into Jay Wright in the sense that anytime a high major program has a coach that gets fired or retires, there's always a tweet from a fan or a reporter that says you got to make Jay Wright say no. And now it's kind of turning into Brad Stevens because Jay Wright literally always says no. Very funny to me.
Yeah, hold on. Where was this? This is a tweet I saw about Sienna. It's Curry Hicksage did it. Said, regarding the Sienna search, you simply have to make Brad Stevens say no.
That's funny. Yeah. I like that Curry Hicksage.
All right. All right. So I think that's everything we wanted to discuss today. The team did some hoops. Season's over, but we're not over yet. We're definitely going to finish off with like a season wrap up review, whether it's the full 40s or whatever we do. We'll do it like a wrap up, do some type of award type ceremony. And then we're going to talk about what's happening with the portal. We'll plan to play that by ear. We'll probably see who, I wish they made it so much more simpler with the portal of like, you have to be in by this day, which they do, but the day needs to be earlier. I don't just like have everybody like you have 2 weeks immediately post national championship game, go in the portal, and then after that it closes like in a month and a half. Sorry, make your decision, make it quick. So we'll figure out a time on the portal to talk about the goings and comings if we're or in the stayings or whatever we're able to do. But yeah, that's gonna do it for us. So thank y'all. It's been a fun season. We are back in the win column, and I don't mean like, yeah, we lost, but like things are looking up. I like don't have the existential dread to talk about Villanova basketball that I felt for like 2 years. Um, there was a point, like, I'm not gonna lie, guys. There was a point during the Kyle stuff. I was like, why are we doing this? Like, this is killing me.
See the defunct Mainline Minute
Yeah.
podcast.
Oh my goodness. I was just like, this is bleak.
But we're back. We're
Yeah,
back. We have the right to get upset now, and that's a good first step.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, thanks y'all for listening, and as always, let's go Nova.
Yes!